What's up everyone? Welcome to today's video and welcome to another Exploring Kansas video. So today we're here in Marion and I'm doing the solo today. Sam is at occupational therapy and PT, so leave him some hearts because you know that's always rough. But we are going to the Historical Society Museum here in Marion. Now if you notice behind me, you see the city park. And that's because the museum is located right next to the city park. So there's not a whole lot of parking, and I'll show you that right now. You can see there's not a lot of parking right here, but there's tons of parking down here at the park. So let's head on in. We'll stop right here. You can see that there is a time capsule to be opened in 2061. And we have this beautiful bell. Zoom out a little bit for you. With a placard to Phyllis Melton and Lorraine Hadsel in grateful recognition of their service to the Historical Society dedicated in 2000. So here's the front of the museum. As you can see, it used to be a church. Still has beautiful windows. I don't know if you can see it too well right there, but there is a stained glass window right there. Pretty light posts. Museum, and we have rhinos. Now you're probably wondering what the rhinos are about, and we will explain the rhinos in a different video, but for now these are the rhinos. The hours from May to November are Monday, Wednesday, Friday 12 to 4 and Saturday from 10 to 4. So they are open. Let's head on it. So you can see right here, as we come in, they have a map of the Santa Fe Trail because Marion is actually on it or close to it. We were right here and the Santa Fe Trail ran right here. So very close to the Santa Fe Trail. They've got, this was a Baptist church, and so this is in the original pulpit Bible from this church. They've got four-horse Evener, a unique chain donated by the children of Omner and Mildred Shields. So that's what this piece is. And here are some other pictures of the church and a bell used in Sunday school from this church. Then over here, they've got some mystery boxes. They've some summer activities that are going on for kids, which is really cool. They didn't have that going on when I was in school. And then we've got, this is Aunt Tom and Aunt Molly donated, and some other pictures of people from Marion. And this was a wagon train doll. And if you don't know what a wagon train doll, it's a cloth doll that little girls on the wagon trains enjoyed. Back in the 1800s, wagon trains rolled west on the prairie. The wagon trains left Independence, Missouri, and followed trails southwest to Santa Fe, New Mexico, or west-northwest to California and Oregon. These dolls were very significant to little girls. Just as rugs and quilts were made from pieces of worn-out or outgrown clothing from various members of the family, so too were wagon train dolls. The cloth used for period wagon train dolls was often faded, dark-colored, and of many different designs. If the head of the wagon train doll was not made from cloth rolled into a small ball, it was made from a small stone or walnut found along the trail. The wagon train period is a fascinating era. Times were simple and the people worked hard. So you can look up more information on the wagon train museum or wagon train at your local museum. And the little poster says that this particular wagon train doll was made and donated to the Historic Museum by Laura Holt in 2002 as part of her 4-H leadership project. And here is the little piece I was reading on, and here is the little part about who donated it. And funny enough, I actually went to school with her, and her mom was the arts and crafts leader for 4-H, and we made those in one of our project meetings. So mine is running around my parents' house. So these are the doors leading into the museum. No food or drinks allowed, which is typical for a museum. And then you've got different plaques here. All right, here we are. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking in the museum. I may stop and do a little bit, but I'm just going to take you guys on a little tour of our local museum. I hope you guys enjoy. If you see on this map, you will see the name Marion Center, which was actually the original name of Marion. Eventually the name Center was dropped off and now it's just Marion. this little doll trunk right here belonged to Mrs. Parker, Lillian Pierce's mother, and on permanent loan from Lita Reese. Now, Lita Reese means a lot to me personally because my dad actually did some work for her on her house when she was living here in Marion, and she asked my dad if I had a hope chest, and Dad said no, and she goes, every young lady needs a hope chest. So she literally had Howard go into her house and bring out this beautiful old trunk, and I will try to put some pictures of it in a future video. It's still at Mom and Dad's house. It's very, very old. The bottom is falling out, but Lita Reese gave me a hope chest. What a hope chest is where a young woman would put items for her future home. So that's just really neat to me. And then up here, I wanted to show you this doll. This one right here. It says this doll belonged to Elizabeth or Lizzie Holder. Lizzie lived in Marion from 1892 to 1988. She was a black single lady who kept house for her father and brother for many years. So pretty much she was a spinster. She was a resident of St. Luke Living Center from August 1977 until her death in January 8th, 1988. During her later years, whether in her wheelchair or in her bed, Lizzie was always seen holding her doll in a loving manner, and I just love that, and I love that it's here in our museum. This was the first sewing machine ever bought in Marion Center, or now Marion. It was bought by Elizabeth Bagby, who later became Mrs. Monroe Baker, mother of Noddy and Fred Baker. So that's really cool that we have the first sewing machine ever bought in town in our museum. So the building that you see in this picture is the Wolf's Creamery, and I'm going to read you this little paper over here because the laminate and the lights and video does not all go together. So it says, George B. McClelland Wolf came to Marion in 1897 and operated the Marion Creamery with a variety of partners. In 1930, Wolf was joined in the business by his son, Gordon. The same year, he purchased the Rogers Building, one of two connected buildings that were situated at right angles at the west end of Main Street. The Rogers Building was built in 1878 by Fred Lewis for Dr. J.N. Rogers. As the business expanded, the Wolfs bought the former Cottonwood Valley State Bank, the building adjoining the creamery. The Wolf Marion Creamery boasted of the most modern equipment and was widely known for the quality of its products. In 1 year, the creamery produced over 500,000 pounds of butter and shipped milk, cream, butter, ice cream, and cottage cheese throughout Kansas. Wolf products were served at the Lassen Hotel, Alias Hotel, and Innis Tea Room in Wichita. Their products were shipped as far away as Arizona. At its zenith, Wolf's Creamery was the largest employer in Marion County. The flood of 1951, a community disaster, ended the history of Wolf's Creamery, and it slowly declined until its closing in the 1960s. In the late 1990s, and according to the young lady at the front desk, 1997 to be exact, Wolf's Creamery was demolished and its best stones sold to builders in Missouri. An era ended in Marion, Kansas. Now, I am actually old enough to remember the Wolf Creamery still standing. I will try to give you guys a shot of where it was, and I'll insert it like right here, and I'll take the picture as we go out of town. It's kind of at the end of the unofficial U-turn section on Main Street. I remember it being there, and then they tore it down because it just wasn't being used. And now it's just a vacant lot. It's used for storage for the auto body shop that's across the street. But I do remember when it was still standing. I do. I'm that old, apparently. Now, here's a piece from my childhood that I remember as well. Beeston's Market. I remember it well. They always had the best bulk Christmas candy. Like, you went to other places to get your regular groceries, and sometimes you did pick up stuff here too, but they had the best bulk Christmas candy. And I remember going in with mom and dad. I remember going in with Mimi and Pampa, my grandparents, to get bulk Christmas candy. So this brings back so many memories. And the total account system, circa 1914, book system, and it was donated by the Beeston's family. Marion High School does that I don't know if other schools do, let me know in the comments, is they do senior composites. And that's what these are. It's a senior snapshot. It has specific rules that the picture needs to be, and they go into these senior composites, and then in the right by the hall, right by the office, if you go up one flight of stairs, it's this little cove, and they've got all of the senior composites up to a certain point. Now at a certain point they have to start adding in new classes, and they get moved here to the historical museum. So eventually I will be in the museum, which is a very scary thought. But I looked, and the class that ends right here is 1996. But it's just crazy to see some of the pictures of people and are adults in your life. Even though I'm an adult, I'm not really an adult, they're an adult. So it's just kind of neat. So like I said, let me know if your class does anything like this at your school. So that's it for our tour of the museum here in Marion. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this, and I hope you guys, if you are ever in the area, come and stop by. It is absolutely free to come and tour. Definitely check to make sure of their current hours, and we will see you in the next video. Bye everyone.